Hello everyone, this is Mayor Jordan bringing you another segment of the Mayor's Corner. Today we have Fire Chief David Dayringer from the city of Fayetteville. He's going to talk a little bit about National Preparedness Month and what we're doing around the city. So it's good to have you on the show today, Chief.
Thanks, Mayor. It's good to be here.
So tell us a little bit about emergency preparedness. What do you mean by that?
Well, emergency preparedness is basically thinking about what types of emergencies you may encounter before the emergencies happen, preparing a plan for what you're going to do during the emergencies, gathering supplies and equipment that you might need to survive in anticipation of the emergency, and then practicing your plan so that you'll have a slide in your brain to know what you're going to do when panic sets in and the emergency actually occurs. That's it in a nutshell.
Well, what kind of levels or types of emergencies are we talking about?
Well, we have Mother Nature caused emergencies like tornadoes, thunderstorms, lightning,
Ice storms,
yes. Things that you've experienced. Yes. Just about every one of them, knocking on wood.
A few floods, a couple of droughts.
Yeah, and then you have man-made emergencies like acts of terrorism, hazardous materials spills, public explosions anymore, and public shootings. Unfortunately, those have to be added to the list. So people should have a plan on what they would do in any of those situations.
Well, how would you how do you prepare people for emergencies at home and at work and traveling? What's some of the precautions they could take?
Well, at home, you should have a kit of supplies. You should have a plan for what you're going to do and work it out with the entire family. Know where you're going to meet outside. Know where you will go, what neighbors to check on, who to call. Know where your local fire station's at. Fire stations have emergency generators, so we can still generally use them to make calls and power equipment and charge cell phones. A lot of times cell phones won't work, so it's going to be a lot of face-to-face communication. But know who your neighbors are and any special needs they may have in the home. Now at work, you should know 2 ways to get out of your office space, or your if you're in a vehicle working, or you're in an apartment building working, or if you're in an office building or a manufacturing plant, know where the fire extinguishers are, know the way to get out, know the most industries have a plan, evacuation plan, know what that is, and know more than one way out in case things get smoky or the power goes out and you have to find your way in the dark. And then practice doing it. And that way you will know which way to turn and what it feels like when you're using your sense of touch to get out of a place that has become dangerous, or to shelter in place, know where the vents are, how to turn off the utilities, how to turn off the electricity, how to shut off the water. Be familiar with your place of employment, whatever it may be. And then when you're traveling, again, have an emergency kit in your car. Make sure it contains jumper cables and maybe some tools to disconnect the battery. Make sure there's, food and water is always essential in any of the kits. But when you're traveling, make sure you know where you're at in your hotel. If you're staying in a hotel, know how to get out, 2 different ways to get out. Most hotel rooms you can go right or left, and most of them will take you to a stairwell where you can exit the building. And communicate with your family or your traveling partners or your fellow employees. Know what everyone else is going to be doing too, so that you can get a head count when you all gather up at your meeting place during the emergency or when it's over.
When we talk, you were talking about a travel emergency kit. What is your basic home emergency kit you should just have ready and accessible?
Well,
what would be in that kit?
Of course, food and water. Mm-hmm. You should have enough water for a gallon of water per person that you're gathering the supplies up for per day. So a gallon of water per person per day, including extra water for pets. If you have pets that you'll be sheltering with, you should have food, non-perishable food, because the electricity may go out. So you should have things like cereal, crackers, nuts, anything that won't run without refrigeration. You should have additional food for your pets. You should have infant formula. If you got babies, you should have extra diapers. You should have the tools you need to shut off utilities. If you have shut the gas off, know how to do that. You should have warm clothing. You should have seasonal clothing. You know, if it's very hot out, you might need summer clothing. Have a full change of clothing, at least one. Have enough supplies to last you and your family or whoever you're sheltering with for 72 hours. So in 72 hours, hopefully the relief efforts will be fully underway, and there'll be other places that you can go and shelter. Don't forget things like medications. If you take medications regularly, have extra ones in your kit. Don't forget your important papers, life insurance policies, a checkbook, cash. Have those in a sealed container that's in your kit. Have any special needs that a person might have. If a person's diabetic, have your food that you're going to need, and have coolers if you have insulin that you need to keep cool. Have coolers that'll keep those for a while. Have your special needs like if you have wheelchairs or if people need walkers, make sure that you have one of those in and around your kit. And you can make the kit as big as you want, but you don't want to make it too big if it's a traveling kit. But a whistle, you need a whistle so that if you get trapped somewhere in a building collapse or a tornado, you can blow that whistle and people can hear you, rescuers can hear you. You need a first aid kit, with regular bandages, Band-Aids, antiseptic to clean wounds that might occur. You need maybe a dust mask for if there is some collapse or an explosion, so that you can filter your breathing air with the dust mask. And don't forget a can opener for your canned goods that you keep in your kit for 72 hours worth of food. So make sure you keep food that people will actually eat. If you got kids, a lot of times they'll get real stubborn and won't eat what you've got. So make sure you have things they like so they can stay fully nutritioned during the emergency. So those are some basic things that should be in your kit. A map might be handy if you have to escape or evacuate your area. So there are communications batteries, flashlights, cell phone batteries, extra batteries for your flashlight. There are a list of things at a website called ready.gov that you can go and use it as a checklist to fill up your kit, your emergency kit. And you can get there from Access Fayetteville. If you go on the city's website and click the red square at the top of the page, it'll take you to a list of emergencies. And if you click on each of those types of emergencies, it'll take you to, at the bottom, it'll give you some advice, and then it'll take you to the ready.gov website where all this information can be found.
Well, all right, and I don't mean to seem repetitive, but just one more time, just lay out the basic things for the people at home. In case of an emergency, what would be the plan?
Well, you should have 2 ways to get out and plan it out. Make sure that if you're on a second story, that if you use a escape ladder out the window, make sure that it's a Underwriter Laboratory approved escape ladder. Make sure that the windows aren't stuck, that you can get through the screen or know how to remove the screen. Make sure your children know how to remove the screens. Have a place outside the home where everyone will meet so that you can do a head count and make sure everyone's out. You should have your kit if you need one. It's not a bad idea to have two, to have one that's close to the exterior of the home or in the garage, and another one on the interior in case of you have to shelter in place. So a plan should include escape routes. It should include safety actions like closing the doors behind you as you exit the home. Make sure that you feel a door before you go through it with the back of your hand to see if it's hot. If you're supposed to shelter in place, if the city puts out a warning, there's a hazardous materials cloud coming your way, have duct tape available to seal around the doors and the windows if you have windows that leak. Make sure that everyone in the household knows how to get out, where to go once they get out, and who to call, and get out quick if it's fire. Shelter in place, seal it up as much as you can.
Okay. Is there any final comments you'd like to make today to the people out there?
Well, preparedness, one more time, is thinking about the emergencies you may face prior to them happening and making a plan, what you're going to do in the emergencies, and making sure you've gathered the supplies that you need for a 72-hour period and equipment when you anticipate the emergency, and then practice your plan so that you know that you know where to go, what to do, who to contact.
Well, and what are the contact numbers for you? If the people want to call and ask questions about this, who can they contact?
Well, they can call the fire department at 575-8365, and if we don't know the answer, we like to think we know everything, but if we don't know the answer, we'll find out and get back with them. So 575-8365, and the city's website is very helpful. A lot of information on there. Go to Access Fayetteville, go to the red square, click on it, and you can learn all about any kind of emergency.
And this is National Preparedness Month, correct, Chief?
September is National Preparedness Month, that's right. And so this is a message that we're trying to get out to the public so that they'll be safe in an emergency, any kind of emergency.
Well, I appreciate it, Chief, you being on the show today, and this has been very informative. And folks, as we close the show today, the best way you can help celebrate National Preparedness Month is to be prepared. And the Chief has laid out the plans and the kits and the things that you might need in your home for any kind of emergency that might occur, or at work, or traveling. So again, you can contact Chief Dayringer or use the City Access website, and it'll help you, keep you very informed on what we're trying to do. So be prepared, have a great day, and I'll see you real soon.